Some types of descriptive research involve collecting data from participants without ever meeting them. We'll look at ways to sample behavior from distant times and places. Archival analysis is using or extracting data from past records or archives. This study analyzed the relationship between smile intensity and longevity in 230 photos of players from Baseball Register, an annual almanac of baseball stats published until 2007. To measure smile intensity, they had raters assess facial expressions as no smile, a partial smile involving only the mouth, or a Duchenne smile, which also involves the muscles of the eyes. They then determined the age of death of the players and found those with big smiles in their Baseball Register photos lived longer than those with partial or no smiles. This isn't a large effect, and there are many other variables that contribute to lifespan, but a clear problem with this type of archival analysis is that the participants are no longer living, so it's impossible to check. The amount of archived data has exploded with social media. Never before in history has there been such large-scale participation in personal data collection. Some companies have a history of privacy breaches and ethical misconduct for profit, highlighting the value of our personal data and the sinister side of social media. However, if consent is clearly given for the use of personal data, there's an opportunity to learn from these huge data sets. Let's consider an example of research using social media. This study surveyed over 66,000 Facebook users who completed the revised NEO Personality Inventory and compared their scores to language used in status updates. These word clouds were created for participants who scored high on extroversion on the left and those that scored low on this trait on the right. These could also be called introverts. A quick glance shows that low extroversion is associated with different language compared to high extroversion. Introverts used words like don't, didn't, doesn't, and isn't, whereas these words are rare in the extrovert statuses. Of course, it's possible that status updates don't accurately reflect real life, but most personality research traditionally relies on self-report questionnaires. This archival approach to social media shares some of the potential biases, but the large numbers of participants allows for strong statistical analysis and generalizability. Another type of descriptive research is remote behavior sampling, also called telemetry or biologging, and is used extensively in the study of animals in the wild. It involves collecting data from a distance, usually with a special device like this wristband shown here that measures electrodermal activity, also called galvanic skin response. This is used as a measure of sympathetic nervous system activity and was used by these researchers to look at how arousal varies throughout the day of an undergraduate student. The student wore this device daily for a week, but let's look at day 2. The first yellow shaded region shows arousal during a lab class, and the pink region during homework. Electrodermal activity peaks at the beginning of sleep, then declines throughout the rest of the sleep period. Note the low levels of arousal while the student was sitting in a lecture class. This device can be used to describe arousal in many day-to-day situations and has the potential to uncover new relationships between arousal state and events in our lives. Phones and wearable devices like Apple Watches and Fitbits monitor activity levels and heart rate, so are increasingly used in place of wearable devices like the one shown here. Test yourself. Which research questions would be best addressed using archival analysis? What about social media analysis? What about remote behavior sampling? Some types of information are difficult to obtain using traditional methods of descriptive research like self-reports and naturalistic observation. Archival analysis allows us to explore behavior in the past, while social media provides a new type of archive of continually updated information. Our connection to devices opens up possibilities for remote behavior sampling, but these need to be balanced with protections for privacy and confidentiality.